Hi, this is Klaus Mager, Food with Thought. It's January 1, 2020, a introduction to a series of megatrends in food. I've been wanting to summarize some thoughts that I have been wanting to express for the last few years, really, and I think this is the right forum to do this and the right medium to do it. By means of introduction, I came to the United States in 1976 with a culinary background from a family of four generations of chefs and restaurant operators. Ended up with Disney, worked for the Walt Disney Company for 21 years as a director of food and beverage. Had the good fortune to lead the team to design, develop, operational startup for Disney's California Adventure, and then again for Hong Kong Disneyland, where I also developed a supply chain, giving me the opportunity to travel, visit food factories, which was a very interesting experience, food processors, food factories, and so on. Completely broadened my experience. And then the last 5 years of my corporate life, I spent back in Germany in the corporate offices of Metro Cash and Carry as head of target group marketing for HoReCa, hospitality industry, hotels, restaurants, canteens, and catering, operated in 30 countries. My responsibility was to work and train teams in each country, pendant teams, small groups who were responsible for target group marketing, market segmentation strategies, customer identification, learning the unique needs of customers, communicating that to operations and procurement, and training a sales force of over 6,000 people to then engage in customer contact. I retired in 2012, and besides doing some consulting work, I started working as a consultant. I've taken advantage of the online universities that have come about just around that time, but very reputable places. So I took a course at Columbia University with Jeffrey Sachs, on sustainability, the age of sustainable development, with Otto Scharmer at MIT University, the Theory U. John Hopkins, Duke University, a couple dozen courses really that got me an overview of the food system, global, national, the nutrition for health and disease prevention. It was a postgraduate course at UC San Francisco. So very amazing educational opportunities that you have online today for free. So I did this, and in the process really became deeply, deeply concerned about what we're doing with food, and where this food system is going, and very really alarming information. And I wanted to, in this first introductory video, just give you a very brief overview of why I'm saying this. I was born in 1949, and in 1949, global population was at 2.4 billion people. That increased to 3 billion people by 1960. In year 2000, there were 6 billion people. Today, we're at 7.7 billion people. So in my lifetime, global population tripled. It's an unbelievable, astounding phenomena, which we're not really conscious of. You don't really think about it all the time. But when you see that these growth rates have primarily happened in the developing world, you're looking at South America, Asia, Africa, and still tremendous growth rates. So the concept that I would like to introduce here is an organization that's called overshootday.org. If you go online, you say overshootday.org. It's a group of scientists who are monitoring global consumptions of renewable resources, biological renewable resources. That is, for example, aquifers. You know, worldwide, we are overdrawing aquifers. That's in China, in India, everywhere. You go here in the United States, look up the Ogallala Aquifer, which is stretching across several states in the Midwest, feeding enormous volumes of agriculture. It's drawing down. It's being drawn down beyond its replenishment rate. Crazy levels. Go online, look it up. That same thing happens everywhere. Once these aquifers are empty, it'll take 1,000 years to refill them. And in the meantime, you're out of water for agriculture. You look at global seafood, 90% of global fish stocks are being fished beyond their replenishment rate, with a number of them already collapsed or on the verge of collapsing. 90% of global fish stocks. The use of topsoil. Topsoil is where we grow food. Without topsoil, you can't grow food. It takes millions of years for topsoil to evolve. Here in the United States, we have lost 1/3 of our topsoil in the last 40 years because of the way we farm. Minerals are being mined out, and minerals, for example, are used for agriculture. Phosphor and things like phosphate and a number of other minerals I come back to later. So, all in all, when you looking at how we are interacting with the natural world, what this group has come to determine is that in 2018, on August 1, we used all of the regenerative production of the planet, and we are now digging into the ecological capital, meaning we are diminishing the ecological capital. So that means we have taken all the water out of the aquifer that comes in on an annualized basis, and we're drawing it down. We're going into the substance. When you calculate August 1, that equates to 1.7 times the regenerative capacity of the planet. We're using 1.7 planets. So you take that 7.7 billion people, which, by the way, now 800 million people are on starvation diets, malnutrition. 20% of children in the global have stunted growth because of nutrient deficiencies. You take those 7.7 billion people, the way we consume today, divide this by 1.7, you come up with 4.5 billion people. 4.5 billion people is what could be maintained sustainably in the way that we live today on this planet. Sustained means continue in perpetuity. But we're scheduled to be at 8.3 billion people by 2030, and we're going to be at somewhere near 10 billion people by 2050. So obviously, while we are depleting this bank account, this ecological capital that has nourished life on this planet up till now, we are increasing the demand on it, not just because of population growth, but also because people in developing countries like China would like to eat more meat. They like to eat a higher quality diet. So obviously, that is coming to an end. I mean, in the very foreseeable future, and in our lifetimes. I mean, this is not somewhere 2100. This is really happening pretty much right now. Just as an example, the United States has had 20 million acres of agricultural land underwater in 2019. So, in any case, I would like to spin out some thoughts on why this is. Particularly focused on agriculture, focused on food, focused on the way we grow and raise our food and consume food in these next few videos. So if you're interested to follow this discussion, you can click on the subscribe on this YouTube channel and Food with Thought, and continue to blend in. And if you have any comments, I would love to hear. I have a Facebook page called Growing a Revolution. click on. There are plenty of articles that elaborate on food related issues. Love to hear what you think and get your feedback. Thank you.